Hey guys, I'm back with a review of a pretty new and exciting handgun. About a month or so ago, Smith & Wesson released the new Shield X. I was away in the wilderness of Alaska at that time, spending some amazing time with brown bears in the wild. That's a story for another time, maybe even for another channel. But the great folks at Smith & Wesson were kind enough to send me a Shield X for testing and review. I do get to keep this gun, and I got it at no cost, but my opinions are my own, and so are my words. I'm glad to see Smith & Wesson enter this form factor into the marketplace because they were kind of noticeably absent before. SIG has the P365X and Springfield Armory has the Hellcat Pro, just to note the primary competitors and closely matched guns. A decade ago, we watched all the major players shrinking the 9mm micro compact to the smallest possible form, each striving to be the smallest, most concealable on the market. While that trophy remains a coveted one, it became clear along the way that not everyone wants a keychain-sized defensive handgun. Bigger hands, desire for better shot control, recoil perceptions, and carry methods all contribute to the desire for some folks for a micro-compact model with stretched-out features. And so we now have the Smith & Wesson offering to satisfy that market niche. Let's dive in. The Shield X is about 3/4 of an inch longer than the regular Shield and just less than 3/8 of an inch taller. The barrel is half an inch longer at 3.6 inches, implying better accuracy and muzzle control. Amazingly, the Shield X is not heavier than the Shield, and depending on the specs that you find, it checks in just a hair lighter, actually. It also keeps its youthful figure, and here again, possibly even getting a bit thinner at just 0.9 inches wide. The biggest difference is the capacity. The Shield X offers 13 and 15 round magazines standard. The latter is achieved with a taller magazine and a polymer sleeve to bridge the gap. The Shield X is optics ready, pre-cut to fit the RMS CK footprint. But even without an optic, the Shield X has superior iron sights. The rear is a serrated black sight capable of running the slide against a belt or a boot. The front sight is a nice Ameriglow night sight with a bright yellow-green ring around a tritium center. So I got the standard magazine with 13 rounds in it. This is the flush magazine. I've got a target 13 yards downrange. Doesn't get much luckier than that. So let me take the first shots with the Shield X. So the new Shield X comes with the flush 13 round magazine. So even tight to the grip, you got 13 rounds of 9mm, which is pretty nice. But it also comes with the extended 15 round magazine, which doesn't add a whole lot of length. And you can see it's got that sleeve on it. I'll show you that a little closer. But that gives you 15 rounds. Loading both of these magazines to capacity was relatively easy, although I will say that the 15th round in the 15 round magazine is a little tight. If you're just thumb loading, you might have to grit your teeth a little bit for that last one. If you're using a Lula
or other similar type of magazine loader like I'm always using, it's really not that big a deal.
I talked about the sight picture a lot while I was testing this gun at the range. It's one of my favorite features.
All right, back to it. Getting a feel with the new Shield X. So I gotta say, I love the sights. Excellent choice of sights.
My least favorite feature is the slide release control. It's far too stiff to release the slide even with the support hand thumb and me straining. I understand this function is debatable among the gun community, but Smith & Wesson continues to be inconsistent with it. On some models it functions well to release the slide, and on some it doesn't. I continue to feel that this is an area for improvement.
I did test the slide stop, slide release to see if I could drop the slide to chamber around. No dice. Like a lot of M&P pistols when they're new, that's a little stiff. I've had it kind of go both ways lately with Smiths, but this one's a little stiff. So that'll probably break in. But boy, did I mention I love these sights? And the other thing I love is the trigger. So you got a flat face trigger, much improved over years past. Not so much over the last couple of years. Smith has done, they've really gone leaps and bounds with their trigger over the last few years, and they've kind of, I think they've kind of plateaued here at a point where they just are putting extremely nice triggers in all of their polymer framed handguns. So this Shield X is certainly no exception to that. Really nice trigger. Blacked out rear sight with anti-glare serrations, and a beautiful bright yellow front sight that has a tritium insert in the center. I believe that is an Ameriglow sight. I'll correct myself if I'm wrong, but I believe that is an Ameriglow product out front.
The finish on the stainless steel slide and the small parts continues to be Armornite, which is one of the best finishes in the business. And the careful observer will notice that for the first time, the Shield has a front rail on the polymer frame. A great place to mount a small light. The trigger of the Shield X is the latest generation of M&P style triggers, and it is excellent. Flat-faced with a light crisp break and a short tactile reset.
Whew. So this is my first video in a really long time. I've had a hard time in, I don't know, the past year, to be honest. I've had a hard time getting content out as frequently as I'd like to. I'd like to be putting out a video every single week, but it's been over a month since the last time I put out a video, and that was actually a Smith & Wesson product too, the Bodyguard 2.0. So not to get into personal issues and whine about my personal challenges, but I do have them, and they are keeping me from the range. But the other thing that kept me from the range this past month was an amazing trip that I took to Alaska, which was absolutely fantastic. I didn't go for like the sightseeing cruise, and I didn't go for hunting. I went for photography, so mostly wildlife photography and mostly bears, brown bears. And I got closer to full-sized adult male brown bears than I ever thought I would. That is a subject for not just another time, another day, but honestly for another channel. This is a gun review channel. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, I do have another channel that I'm hoping to resurrect. It never got very big because I never put a lot of time and effort into it, unfortunately. But it's called Nights and Weekends, and I'll put a link somewhere in this video or in the information below it if you think you're interested. And there's really no new content up there at the moment, but there will be soon. I am going to be doing something with this Alaska trip. So if you're interested in that, feel free to give it a look. Back to it with the Shield X. So why a Shield X, right? So you have a little bit longer slide. You have taller frame, more capacity. That's really a key. You have a Picatinny rail out front that we're not used to seeing on a Shield. And this gun is, of course, optics ready. I don't have an optic on it right now because I prefer not to do my first range trip with an optic. Because it's probably me, but if I put an optic on a pistol, I'm spending all my time thinking about the optic, because that's just the point of focus for me while I'm shooting. So I spend less time thinking about the gun, and I'd rather spend more time thinking about the gun. I also want to talk about the stock sights, because at the end of the day, there's going to be a time, regardless of whether you're an optics person or not, there's going to be a time you're going to be relying on those stock sights. So I want to get a feel for all that. So I do really like the extra size in the hand, although I don't particularly need it, being someone with relatively small hands. But it does add some nice comfort, even with the flush magazine. And with the extended magazine, you big ham-handed guys, probably going to find it pretty comfortable too. Those plates are 15 yards away that I'm hitting right now. Or not hitting, as the case may be, but mostly hitting. And they're about 6 or 8 inches in diameter. Let's say 8 inches in diameter. So relatively small target, and this thing is doing a great job. Although I'm not. Because I can only hit the top one. So those targets were provided to the channel by TA Targets. I've told you that a lot of times. I'm going to keep telling you too, because I appreciate it a lot. But that one, I don't know how happy I am about that one. That one makes me look bad every single time.
The ergonomics of the Shield X are fantastic. It's easily one of the most comfortable feeling handguns I've shot. The texture, combined with the added size in the hand and that trademark M&P curve to the backstrap, make the gun feel like it was poured into your hand. As I stated at the range, I like to test first with open sights, so I didn't mount an optic before testing, but I will do so and get it back to the range for a follow-up. I'm already looking forward to another day of shooting this gun.
So with the Shield X, we do get that little bit of extra height in the grip, and you can see that without any magazine inserted, my pinky is completely at home and has full coverage. And with the flush round magazine, that's what we look like. This particular model does have the safety. It is not an ambidextrous safety, it is simply a right-hander only safety. So you can engage the safety, as I have just done with the slide back. You can rack the slide with the safety on, and I've talked about this before with respect to other models, is that I like that feature because that allows me to charge the gun, in other words, put a round in the chamber with the safety engaged, which is just another layer of safety, which is good. So a little bit more on this safety. I can't swipe it on with my thumb, which is okay, because that helps me to not accidentally put the safety on during live fire, right? But I can easily swipe the safety off with my thumb, which is also very important, because then if I were to draw this gun in self-defense, I can easily take the safety off if I have that on and engaged. So the safety works. Basically what I'm trying to say is it works just the way I like it, just the way I think that it should work. All right, I'm going to do my best to take care of these hard targets. Trying to get the aim point, and I think I'm getting it. All right. So those are 6-inch squares, 15 yards away, just for point of reference. So it's not certainly real hard, but it's no gimme. I definitely got to slow down and pay attention for those.
The gun was instinctively accurate for me, performing very well on my array of small steel TA targets. I tested the model with the thumb safety, but it's also available without one. I found the safety to be very effective and easy to operate. The Shield has always been a great contender to carry in deep concealment, including pocket carry. The Shield X stretches the dimensions enough to really kind of disqualify it for pocket carry, at least for me, but it would still disappear nicely inside or outside the waistband, especially because it's so thin. I don't yet have a holster for it, but I would like to do some good EDC testing with it in the future if I can get a hold of one. Smith & Wesson has another winner here, as far as I'm concerned. It's another of those micro-compact 9mm handguns that doesn't feel tiny when you shoot it. People with larger hands will certainly appreciate it, as will those who want top quality accuracy and reliability in a small, easy-to-handle package. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I like to read them and learn more about the content you want. You can really support the channel and help me keep content flowing by hitting like and being a subscriber. I'm on Patreon too, if you want to support me that way. Look down in the description of this video and you'll see several discount codes and affiliate links. You can save significant money on products that I use and recommend. And if you think this video was especially helpful to you, or you just want to say thanks, YouTube provides a button for that just below the video. Kind of like leaving a tip if you feel like you got good service. You may agree or you may not agree, but in the end, this is just an opinion. Thanks for watching.